Einstein came up with his special relativity theory in 1905. The special part applies to constant speed. He does have a general theory of relativity as well. And basically he had been thinking about the ideas of time, and he carried out in his head what he considered a thought experiment. A bit like Newton and his canon, as we saw in the previous chapter. And this was once again, I think, what sets Einstein apart, the kind of imaginative side of his work, how he was able to link lots of hard scientific theories, but also be able to use his imagination in them and think about, well, what would be the consequences if such and such and so on. So his thought experiment was about time, and basically this version of it, to simplify it, we're going to think about the numbers, that the speed of light is only 3 meters per second. And so the tram is travelling away from the clock at 2 meters per second. So in 6 seconds the tram will have travelled 12 meters. However, the light then would take 4 seconds to travel that distance. So the light that reached the tram at this point in the time left the clock 4 seconds earlier, i.e. when the time in the clock read 2 seconds. So the person in the tram observing something in the clock, which is in a different reference frame because the tram's moving relative to the clock, sees the time as 2 seconds. On the other hand, somebody standing underneath the clock would see the time as 6 seconds. So straight away we've got a difference then in perceived time. Now obviously the speed of light isn't 3 meters per second, but if we do take that idea up to the extreme of 3 times 10 to the power 8, then we can still see that the idea would apply if you're travelling at speeds which are significant compared to the speed of light. If in fact the tram was moving at the speed of light, and this was one of the things that troubled Einstein, was the idea that, well, the light from the clock would always reach it at the same speed, 3 meters per second, which is the same speed as the tram, and therefore it would only ever see the light that left along with the tram. So it would see the clock effectively as stopped, not measuring any time at all. So Einstein obviously realised that this was a problem in terms of the absolute nature of time, that time could no longer be thought of as absolute, that there is a kind of fixed value of time. So he came up with two what are called postulates, two ideas that he said he reckoned must be true by considering what he'd observed and what other scientists had worked out, and then said, well, if these are true, what consequences does that have? And we've since been able to prove that those consequences are all measurable. And what he said was the laws of physics must be the same for all observers in all parts of the universe. So it shouldn't matter where you are, you should see the same rules. And that light always travels at the same speed. So that ties in with the work, obviously, that Clerk Maxwell had done as well. And from them, then, you get the idea that time and space can no longer be considered as absolute.